What if everything you were taught about money was a lie? You're not broke because you're lazy. You're not failing because you're bad with money. You were just handed a broken map and told to follow it blindly. In this video, we expose 5 dangerous money myths that keep millions trapped in financial struggle. From the lie that school prepares you for wealth, to the myth that saving money in the bank is smart, it's time to unlearn the illusion and reclaim your financial power. The truth may surprise you. Stay with me until the end. Are you interested in this topic? If so, comment below with the phrase, "I'm ready to be transformed." When I see your comment, I'll know you're someone with insight, and I'll be sure to give it a heart. If you'd like to support this channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so YouTube alerts you anytime I upload valuable content like this. Now that you've commented and subscribed, let's dive in. Number 1. The debt lie. All debt is evil. We've been taught debt is a monster, but the rich, they don't slay dragons, they ride them. Debt has long been painted as the villain in the story of personal finance. From childhood we hear warnings: don't borrow money, avoid credit cards, debt will ruin your life. It's drilled into us as something dangerous, something to fear and avoid at all costs. But here's the truth that most financial education glosses over. Debt isn't inherently evil. It's a tool, and like any tool, its power depends on who wields it and how. Meet Sarah, the debt rider. Sarah took out a $30,000 loan, not to buy a flashy car or fund a vacation, but to purchase a laundromat. Her monthly loan payment, $500. The laundromat's monthly profit, $3,000. In other words, Sarah's debt isn't a burden, it's a machine that works for her. The laundromat generates cash flow that not only covers the loan payments, but also leaves her with a healthy profit. Over time, as she pays down the loan, the laundromat becomes hers outright, an appreciating asset that continues to generate income. Meanwhile, her cousin Jake took a different path. He saved diligently for 10 years to buy a house outright. No mortgage, no debt. Sounds safe, right? But during those 10 years, inflation quietly gnawed away at his savings, reducing their purchasing power like termites eating through wood. By the time Jake bought his house, it cost significantly more than when he started saving. The real cost of fear. Jake's story is common. Many people avoid debt because they fear it, but in doing so they miss out on opportunities to leverage other people's money to build wealth. Inflation and rising prices mean that saving cash alone can be a losing game. Sarah's story shows a different mindset, using debt strategically to acquire assets that generate income and appreciate in value. This is the mindset that separates the wealthy from the rest. Question to you: if debt can be a weapon, why did they only teach you to fear it? Comment "debt is a tool" below. If this hits home, I'll send you a heart. Debt is just a knife. Dangerous in the wrong hands, life-saving in the right ones. Think about a knife. In the hands of a toddler, it's dangerous and reckless. But in the hands of a skilled surgeon, it saves lives. Debt works the same way. It's not the debt itself that's the problem, it's how you use it. Lessons from the 2008 housing crash. Two sides of the debt coin. The 2008 financial crisis was a brutal lesson in debt mismanagement. Millions of people lost their homes because they used debt to buy liabilities, homes they couldn't afford, financed by risky loans, often with little understanding of the terms. But while many were drowning, a savvy few saw opportunity in the chaos. These investors used debt to buy distressed properties at rock-bottom prices. They leveraged cheap credit to snap up assets that others couldn't afford or didn't want. Today, those same investors collect tens of thousands of dollars a month in rental income from properties that have appreciated significantly. When you hear the word debt, do you see shackles, chains that bind you to financial stress? Or do you see a skeleton key, tool that can unlock doors to wealth and opportunity? The difference lies in mindset and education. If you want to harness debt as a tool rather than fear it as a monster, here are some principles to follow. 1. Borrow to buy assets, not liabilities. Assets put money in your pocket. Rental properties, businesses, investments. Liabilities take money out: luxury cars, expensive gadgets, consumer debt. Use debt to acquire assets that generate income and appreciate. 2. Understand your cash flow. Calculate how much income an asset will generate versus the cost of debt servicing. Ensure the asset produces positive cash flow after loan payments and expenses. 3. Keep debt manageable and strategic. Avoid over-leveraging. Maintain a buffer for unexpected expenses or downturns. Use debt with a clear plan for repayment and growth. 4. Educate yourself on debt types and terms. Understand interest rates, loan terms and risks. Shop for the best financing options. Use professional advice if needed. Real-world examples of riding the debt dragon. Real estate investors use mortgages to buy rental properties, letting tenants pay down the mortgage while building equity. Business owners take loans to expand operations, buy equipment, or enter new markets, increasing revenue and profits. Entrepreneurs use startup capital loans or lines of credit to launch and grow businesses. The power of leverage. Leverage means using borrowed money to amplify your investment returns. When done right, it can accelerate wealth building exponentially. For example, if Sarah bought her laundromat outright with $30,000 cash, her return on investment would be limited to the profit generated. But by borrowing part of the purchase price, she keeps some cash free for other investments, while still controlling the asset. Beware of debt traps. Not all debt is created equal. High-interest consumer debt, like credit cards or payday loans, can trap you in a cycle of payments with no wealth-building benefits. The key is to distinguish between good debt, debt used to acquire income-producing assets, and bad debt, debt used for consumption. Changing your relationship with debt. The first step to breaking free from the fear of debt is changing your mindset. Recognize that debt is a tool, neutral in itself. It's your knowledge, discipline, and strategy that determine whether it helps or harms you. Will you ride the dragon or fear it? Debt doesn't have to be a monster lurking in your financial shadows. It can be a powerful ally on your journey to wealth. Ask yourself, are you ready to learn how to use debt strategically? Will you educate yourself to spot opportunities rather than run from risks? Can you see debt as a tool, a skeleton key to unlock financial freedom? If the answer is yes, comment "debt is a tool" and start your journey today. Number 2. The education scam. School prepares you for wealth. You spent years learning Pythagorean theorems, but ever see a triangle pay your rent? Here's a hard truth that schools never tell you. They teach you to be a good employee, not a wealth builder. Think about it. When was the last time your boss got rich from your overtime? Yet you're told to study hard, get good grades, and land a stable job. But what if that's the trap? The education system's hidden curriculum. Schools drill formulas, dates, and facts into your head. They test your ability to memorize the periodic table, solve quadratic equations, or recite Shakespeare. But they rarely teach you the real elements of wealth: how money works, how to make it work for you, and how to protect it from taxes and inflation. Ask yourself, if education equals wealth, why do teachers drive Hondas while rappers buy private islands? This isn't just about envy or lifestyle. It's about the system's priorities. The education system is designed to produce reliable workers, not financially independent entrepreneurs or investors. Meet Tony, the barber who outsmarted the MBA. Take Tony, my barber. Tony dropped out of high school at 16. No fancy degrees, no corporate ladder to climb. But Tony mastered one skill that school never taught him: spotting assets. He started by renting a small shop to cut hair. Then, instead of spending all his profits, he saved and bought the shop. Next, he bought the building, then the entire block. Today, Tony is the landlord for a popular coffee chain that moved in as the neighborhood gentrified. He collects rent checks every month, building wealth passively. Meanwhile, his neighbor, a guy with an MBA from a top university, is stuck in endless Zoom meetings, begging for a 3% raise that barely keeps up with inflation. What's the difference? Tony understands money isn't just about working harder. It's about owning things that make money for you. His education came from the school of life, experience and observation, not textbooks. The real question: what is education for? If traditional education doesn't teach you how to build wealth, what does it teach you? How to follow instructions, how to obey authority, how to compete for limited jobs. It's a system designed to create employees, not entrepreneurs. They taught you to memorize the periodic table, but hid the real elements of wealth. Here's a quick quiz for you. What's harder? Calculating the hypotenuse of a triangle, or explaining why your paycheck loses 30% to taxes before you even see it? Most people can solve the math problem, but very few understand the tax system that drains their income. Maria's story. The teacher who learned the hard way. Maria is a dedicated teacher with a master's degree. She followed all the rules, studied hard, got certified, and worked for years. She believed her pension was a safe retirement plan. Then she found out her pension was essentially a Ponzi scheme, paying current retirees with the contributions of current workers, including herself. With demographic shifts and government debts, her pension's future is uncertain. Maria cried. She realized that despite her education and hard work, she was financially vulnerable. Jake's story. The student who flunked math but mastered taxes. Jake was Maria's student. He flunked math but took a different path. He studied tax codes, real estate laws and business structures. He owns 7 Airbnb units and pays 0 income tax legally by leveraging deductions, depreciation and tax incentives. Jake isn't lucky, he's financially literate. Kiyosaki's framework for financial success. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, breaks down wealth building into 3 core components. 1. Financial IQ. Know how money moves, not just how to earn it. Most people know how to earn money, but don't understand how money works. Understanding cash flow, assets versus liabilities, and tax laws is crucial. For example, owning rental property can generate positive cash flow and tax benefits, unlike a salaried job where you trade time for money. 2. Emotional control. Fear of risk keeps you poor. Calculated risk makes you rich. Fear of losing money paralyzes many from investing or starting businesses, but calculated risks, based on research, planning and knowledge, can lead to wealth. Tony took the risk of buying property. Jake took the risk of investing in Airbnb. Both reaped rewards. 3. Legal leverage. The rich don't evade taxes. They use the system's own rules against it. The wealthy use corporations, trusts and tax codes to protect and grow their wealth. They pay less tax legally by structuring income and expenses strategically. Jake's Airbnb business is a perfect example of this legal leverage. Why does this matter to you? Because the traditional path, study hard, get a job, save money, is no longer enough. Inflation, stagnant wages, and complex tax systems erode your financial security. You need to unlearn what school taught you about money and learn the real rules of wealth. How to start your own real school of wealth. 1. Build your financial IQ. Read books on personal finance and investing. Follow credible financial educators and entrepreneurs. Learn the basics of taxes, investing and money management. 2. Identify and acquire assets. Start small. Invest in dividend-paying stocks, rental properties, or a side business. Focus on assets that generate income or appreciate over time. Avoid liabilities disguised as assets, like expensive cars or gadgets that lose value. 3. Manage your emotions. Accept that risk is part of growth. Don't let fear or greed drive your decisions. Develop patience and discipline. Wealth builds over time. 4. Use legal tools to your advantage. Learn about business structures like LLCs and corporations. Understand tax deductions and credits. Consult financial advisors or tax professionals to optimize your strategy. Final thoughts. Are you ready to join the real school? The system wants you to stay stuck in the employee mindset, but you have a choice. Stay comfortable, but financially vulnerable, or challenge the status quo. Educate yourself and build real wealth. If you're ready to unlearn and relearn, comment real school, and let's go. If you're getting value from this video and want to see more content like this, please hit the like button and smash the subscribe button. It means the world to me, and it really helps the channel grow. I'm on a mission to hit 100,000 subscribers, and with your support I know we can get there. Now that you've liked and subscribed, let's continue with our discussion. Number 3. The savings trap. Park your money in the bank. Banks love your savings because they lend it out at 10% while giving you 0.01%. You're the unpaid middleman in your own financial tragedy. Think about that for a moment. You deposit your hard-earned money into a bank, expecting it to be safe and maybe earn a little interest. But the bank isn't just holding your cash in a vault. No, it's using your money to lend to others at much higher rates. The average bank might pay you a fraction of a percent on your savings account, while charging borrowers double-digit interest rates. You're essentially lending your money to the bank for free, and they're making a killing, the illusion of safety. This is why the phrase "park your money in the bank" is one of the most misleading pieces of financial advice out there. Sure, your money is safe in the sense that it's insured up to a limit, but it's not safe in terms of preserving or growing your wealth. Inflation, the silent thief, erodes the purchasing power of your cash every year. In 1971, something fundamental changed in the financial world. Money became debt. The US left the gold standard, meaning that dollars were no longer backed by a physical commodity like gold. Instead, money became a promise, a debt obligation. This shift allowed governments and banks to create money out of thin air, but it also meant that the value of money could be diluted over time. Inflation, the hidden tax on savers. Today, $100 under your mattress buys what $20 did in 1990. That's a staggering loss in purchasing power. Inflation averages around 2 to 3% annually, but it can spike much higher during economic crises or periods of rapid money printing. If your savings account pays 0.01% interest, you're effectively losing money every year. The system is rigged, and safe savers are the losers. You might feel secure seeing your bank balance grow by a few dollars, but in reality, your money is shrinking in value. Meanwhile, the banks and borrowers are making real gains. Let's illustrate this with a simple story. Two friends inherit $50,000 each. Anna, cautious and risk-averse, puts her inheritance into a high-yield savings account. Spoiler alert, it's not really high yield. After 10 years, Anna's $50,000 grows to about $52,000. Not bad on paper, but after adjusting for inflation, she's actually lost purchasing power. Luis, on the other hand, buys a beat-up duplex with his $50,000 as a down payment. He rents both sides out, letting tenants pay his mortgage. Over time, the property appreciates. Fast forward 10 years, Luis owns a $1 million asset that throws off $4,000 per month in rental income. He's not just preserved his wealth, he's multiplied it many times over. Why are you hoarding cash like it's gold? If money is losing value, why are you hoarding it like it's gold? The answer lies in fear and misinformation. People cling to cash because it's familiar and liquid. They fear the risks of investing or real estate, but in doing so, they fall into the savings trap. Smash the like button if this stings but you needed to hear it. Subscribe if you're done playing the loser's game. The bank's ultimate magic trick, creating money from thin air. Banks don't want you to know this. Every loan they give you is fake money conjured from thin air. Yet you pay real interest. The ultimate magic trick, and you're the sucker. Here's how it works. When you take out a loan, the bank doesn't hand over someone else's money. Instead, it creates a deposit in your account, new money that didn't exist before. This process is called fractional reserve banking. Banks keep only a fraction of deposits as reserves and lend out the rest, effectively multiplying the money supply. You might think, great, I have money to spend. But remember, this money is debt, and it comes with interest. You owe the bank more than it created. Over time, this system fuels economic growth but also inflation and debt cycles. Kiyosaki's law, make debt work for you. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, sums it up perfectly. Rule 1. If you're using debt, make sure someone else is paying it off. Tenants, customers, the government. Luis's duplex is a perfect example. His tenants pay the mortgage through rent. He leverages other people's money and effort to build his wealth. Anna, by contrast, is using her own money to earn pennies, breaking free from the savings trap. So what can you do to avoid being the unpaid middleman in your own financial tragedy? Here are some actionable steps. 1. Educate yourself about inflation and money. Understanding how money works is the first step. Learn about inflation, interest rates, and how banks create money. Knowledge is power, and it will help you make smarter decisions. 2. Diversify your assets. Don't keep all your wealth in cash. Consider assets that appreciate over time or generate income. Real estate, stocks, bonds, or even small businesses. Diversification reduces risk and increases your chances of beating inflation. 3. Use debt strategically. Not all debt is bad. Good debt is when you borrow to acquire assets that generate income or appreciate in value. Bad debt is consumer debt, credit cards, car loans, or anything that loses value quickly. Follow Kiyosaki's rule. Make sure someone else is paying off your debt. 4. Automate investments. Set up automatic transfers to investment accounts. This removes the temptation to hoard cash and helps you build wealth consistently over time. 5. Build multiple income streams. Relying solely on a paycheck or savings interest is risky. Rental income, dividends, royalties, or side businesses can provide financial security and growth. The savings trap is just one symptom of a larger economic system designed to benefit the few at the expense of the many. Governments and central banks manipulate money supply and interest rates to control economies, often at the cost of savers. By understanding this, you can start to think differently about money. Instead of being a passive saver, become an active wealth builder. Challenge conventional wisdom. Take calculated risks. Use the system to your advantage rather than being its victim. Are you ready to play a different game? The choice is yours. You can continue to park your money in the bank, watching inflation eat away at your hard-earned cash. Or you can take control, educate yourself, and build assets that grow your wealth. Remember Luis and Anna. One played it safe and lost purchasing power. The other took a risk and built a fortune. Which friend do you want to be? Give me the answer in the comment section. If this message resonates, smash that like button and subscribe for more no-nonsense financial wisdom. It's time to stop playing the loser's game and start winning with your money. Number 4. The income illusion. Your salary defines your wealth. We've been sold a lie that says our salary defines our wealth. High earners go broke too. The difference? Assets don't care if you're sick, fired, or tired. They keep generating income, regardless of your circumstances. Someone can earn $400,000 a year and still be broke if every dollar goes to car payments, rent, designer clothes, and entertainment. The moment that salary stops, whether due to illness, layoffs, or retirement, they're in deep trouble. Now flip the script. Someone else might earn far less, but they've steadily acquired income-generating assets, a small rental property, dividend-paying stocks, maybe an e-book that sells daily on autopilot. If they stop working, the money doesn't stop. That's the difference. Assets don't care if you're burned out, fired, or taking a break. They work for you. While salary is earned through time and effort, assets earn independently. This is why wealth isn't measured by income. It's measured by how long you can live without working. In fact, that's a core financial principle. Your wealth is how many days you could survive financially if your paycheck vanished tomorrow. If your paycheck vanished tomorrow, how long could you survive? Would you be able to pay your bills? Would you have to sell your assets or dip into your savings? The truth is, most people are one paycheck away from financial disaster. We've been brainwashed to think income is effort. Reality, income is leverage. The rich use leverage to build wealth, while the middle class trades time for money. It's a fundamentally different approach to finance. Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant explains it perfectly. E, which stands for employee, trading time for money. You're the hamster. S, which stands for self-employed, trading skills for money. You're the hamster with a side hustle. B, which stands for business owner. Systems work while you sleep. You own the wheel. I, which stands for investor. Money works while you sleep on a beach. You own the hamster factory. Most people are stuck in the E and S quadrants, trading time for money. But the rich operate in the B and I quadrants, using leverage and systems to build wealth. The paycheck trap, the system's dirtiest trick. The more you earn, the more you spend, keeping you forever on the treadmill. You've been conditioned to upgrade your lifestyle every time your salary increases. Congrats, you're a high-income slave. Think about it. When your salary goes up, you start spending more on luxury items, vacations, and big houses. You're not building wealth, you're just keeping up appearances. The rich, on the other hand, focus on building assets, not liabilities. The difference? Let's look at two barbers, Joe and Carlos. Joe works 12-hour days, charging $30 per cut. He's trading time for money, and his income is limited by his hours. Carlos, on the other hand, hires 10 barbers, takes 30% of their earnings, and vacations in Bali. Both work in hair. Only one understands wealth. Carlos has built a system that generates income without his direct involvement. He's leveraging the time and skills of others to build wealth. Joe, on the other hand, is stuck in the E quadrant, trading time for money. So what's the solution? Shift your mindset from income to assets. Focus on building wealth-generating assets, not just earning a high income. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Comment assets over incomes if you're shifting your mindset. Then smash the subscribe button, because the next video is going to blow your mind. This week, take a hard look at your finances. Calculate your net worth and identify areas where you can cut back on unnecessary expenses. Start building wealth-generating assets, whether it's through real estate, stocks, or businesses. Your salary doesn't define your wealth. Your assets do. It's time to wake up, take control of your finances, and build the life you deserve. Don't be a high-income slave. Be a wealth builder. The game is fixed, but you can still win. Number 5. The system's dirty secret. They want you poor. The game's fixed, folks, and I'm about to show you why. You're working hard, paying taxes on your wages, while the wealthy play by different rules. Inflation's quietly stealing from savers, and our schools are designed to churn out obedient workers, not independent thinkers. Let's break it down. Taxes target your wages, not wealth. You slave away, and the government takes its cut. Meanwhile, the rich leverage their assets, using other people's money to build empires. They're playing a different game, and you're just starting to learn the rules. You're probably thinking, but I'm doing okay. I've got a job, a roof over my head, and food on the table. That's great, but the system's designed to keep you in a cycle of dependency. You're trading time for money, while the wealthy focus on generating passive income. Think about it. When you get a raise, you're pushed into a higher tax bracket. You're working harder, but the government takes a bigger chunk. The wealthy, on the other hand, use tax loopholes and deductions to minimize their tax bill. It's not fair, but it's the game. Our schools are designed to produce workers, not entrepreneurs. You're taught to follow rules, memorize formulas, and regurgitate information. But when it comes to personal finance, you're left in the dark. No wonder most people struggle with money management. The rich, however, invest in financial education. They learn about investing, real estate, and building businesses. They're equipped with the knowledge and skills to build wealth, while you're left to figure it out on your own. So what's the solution? Play a different game. Learn the rules the rich use, leverage cash flow and tax loopholes. It's not about getting rich quick. It's about building wealth strategically. Read the books, attend the seminars, and surround yourself with people who are already playing the game. Leverage is using other people's money to build wealth. It's not about taking risks. It's about being smart. The rich use leverage to invest in real estate, stocks and businesses. They're not limited by their own resources. They're limited only by their imagination. Cash flow. Cash flow is the lifeblood of wealth building. It's not about making a lot of money. It's about keeping it. The rich focus on generating passive income so they can live life on their terms. They're not trading time for money. They're building systems that generate wealth. Tax loopholes. Tax loopholes are legal ways to minimize your tax bill. The rich use them to their advantage, while you're left to pay your fair share. It's not about cheating the system. It's about playing by the rules and using them to your advantage. The challenge. This week, do one thing differently. Take a small step towards breaking the trance. Read a chapter of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Track your net worth. Talk to a landlord about investing in real estate. These small actions will start to shift your mindset. If you made it this far, you're ready for the next level. Comment new games below and subscribe for more insights on building wealth and beating the system. The system's not going to change overnight, but you can change your game today. Take control of your finances, educate yourself, and start building the life you deserve. The game's fixed, but you can still win. It's time to wake up, take action, and build the wealth you deserve. Thanks for staying until the end. I love you.